Space Coconut.
Okay, so I know I'm late to the party, but today I'm going to give my thoughts on the PTB version of the twins, and you're probably going to be surprised. Before I get into it, be sure to sub if you're new and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos in the future. Like, share, and comment because it all helps the channel and our discussions gain visibility. If you ever feel like talking about anything you see in my videos, follow me on Twitch where I'm live every Saturday with random streams thrown in during the week. Join the Discord if you want to help shape the Space Whisperer podcast, as well as find out when those random streams will be. Links to everything are in the description. Now, the most important thing that I need to mention in this video is that many of the concerns that came up during the PTB have been acknowledged by Yannick. In a forum post, he says, "Hello, thank you very much for the feedback. I'm replying to this post, but huge thanks to everyone who posted their feedback and suggestions, especially when it's constructive. We do read feedback. It really helps us make decisions on elements that we were unsure of or were on the fence throughout development. To answer your questions and suggestion, we have a plan for the lockers. I can't say more for now, but we are currently in discussion of the hows and when we will do it. Incapacitated, yes, it's madness. Good catch. More to be announced in due time about this. Camera lock was necessary. It was easier to control because the pounce curve and direction have very specific values. If we didn't lock it, players were expecting different result from the jump when aiming. It might feel restrictive, but in the end, it gave better result. Example, players were looking downwards, expecting to pounce on a first level floor, but were projected forward, straight in front. Inability to walk on debris, that is an unfortunate limitation. Our game is not built vertically, and this killer was a technical challenge on its own. Players were constantly getting stuck, going out of the level, or seeing weird graphical bugs. In the end, we judged that even though it was considered a very novel effect in DBD and fun, it didn't serve the killer efficiency. Players were wasting lots of time trying to climb on different surfaces. In the end, they were losing focus of the survivors. Having Victor destroyed after a few seconds was a feasible solution that didn't hurt the killer efficiency. We are also discussing the instance when a survivor holds on to the brother infinitely. Hope that clears up some questions. Thank you again. And now, I don't remember the last time we received such a clear response to our feedback that wasn't dripping in tone-deaf condescension. Almo. So props to Yannick for responding to the community in a way that encourages understanding in a not-so-enjoyable situation. While it sounds like the twins are going to be changed before live, it also sounds like some of the more important changes won't make it to live, so I'll have to set the twins analysis aside until they do go live. For the time being, here are my initial thoughts on the killer. The transition between the two killers is too long. While I understand their trepidation in making things too quick, they've already established that speed tweaks to tactical movements help a killer be fluid and versatile. By speeding up the trap setting speed as well as removing her 2-second movement delay after teleporting, Hag has become one of the stronger killers that still has counterplay and can still be beaten by players who know what they're doing. The same is going to be said about the twins when the devs eventually speed up the swap transition. At least that's my hope, because then the twins become a hag and a phantasm that can be used tactically, and not just herder, chase with Victor, down with Victor, hook with Charlotte. You know, the same normal, boring gameplay loop we've had for years. But her use is going to be completely dependent on what the devs decide to do with her. So, talking about her tactics, strengths, and weaknesses are kind of pointless right now. Even with this uncertainty with the twins, I'm very satisfied with Yannick's response on the feedback they've been given. Everyone on the mod and dev team should take notes on his response because it's simple things like this that people like myself are asking for. Just be transparent with us. Just acknowledge our feedback and tell us what you're thinking in regards to it. It's really not difficult. As for the fact that Victor looks like a baby, and the mods and dev team are waging evil dictator levels of censorship to make sure you keep your damn mouth shut, they're in a losing battle. Nicknames aren't meant to be literal. And if you're gonna ban players from calling Victor baby because he's not a baby, then similar logic should be applied to the pig because she's not a pig. if the devs and the mods continue to try and drop the hammer on everyone who calls Victor a baby, not only is the nickname going to stick even harder, they're going to make themselves look incredibly foolish in the process. It's the nature of people making fun of something. If someone is going to make fun of something, there is absolutely nothing anyone can do about it. Unless, of course, you're comparing a cartoon character to the leader of a country. This creepy little thing is called a gray child. In the original Silent Hill, this little monster was replaced in the European and Japanese versions of the game with a differently designed monster called a mumbler. To any reasonable person, a gray child very, very loosely resembles a child, but it was replaced anyway. Victor may not be a baby in the lore, but he is a very clear representation of a human being about 2 to 3 feet tall that comes out of an adult female human being baby. Every killer has nicknames that represent their physical appearance. Victor is no different. And no matter what anyone says, as long as Victor's character design doesn't change, one of those nicknames will always be baby. From a business standpoint, Behavior might be better off redesigning the character, because I'm not so sure how well it's going to go with other countries that will still see a child regardless of how old the devs say the character is on paper. Until the devs can change Victor's design to avoid looking childlike in even the most remote sense, the mods will have to continue to censor the word baby as harshly as that one guy who doesn't like to be compared to Winnie the Pooh. If you create custom art, you better stop making baby versions of every killer, or you'll probably be banned in one way or the other. Now, if any devs are watching this, or you want to share this thought on the forums for me, listen to this. This is the buggiest and least complete PTB test I can remember testing in a very long time. This isn't a bad thing though. Hear me out. If the devs find a way to make this early stage PTB idea a part of the design process where we get to give our thoughts on a new killer early enough in the process to impact its design in a meaningful way before it goes live, then this will solve several problems that exist all at once. While the surprise won't be there, the quality and the state of the game will be. Imagine if we're testing this content in the PTB now, but the content is going back into the oven to cook for another 2 to 3 months. While the bugs are worked out, the perks and the powers are adjusted to be good when they're released. If they wanted to keep the design of the twins a secret, they could use models for the Trapper and have him spit out a tiny hag for testing. I don't know. Seriously, imagine if we all just took part in a meaningful PTB that caused the next chapter to be way better than it would have been otherwise. Unfortunately for everyone, they're probably stuck to their release schedule and will have to suffer through the late development stages of the killer instead of having a finished product ready immediately. Something to think about, behavior. And stop with this week-old PTB version nonsense. Give us an up-to-date version so our feedback will actually mean something. Yannick, if you ever watch this, I appreciate your response. And if you're ever available for an interview, I'll make sure I'm available as well. Many of you enjoyed the podcast, so I'll definitely do more of those in the future. I'll be making the Space Whisperer logo available as merch in the near future if you're interested in that as well. That logo is too funny not to share with everyone who will never be fog whisperers like myself. There are a lot of videos to make, and I fell behind while making the podcast, so I'll leave it here. In the meantime, I'll see you in the fog.